Hello there, thanks for stopping by. Welcome to Messing About with a Narrowboat. Now, the last episode we concentrated on getting the shower frame in and the shower tray and the Gulper pump and all the plumbing done. This episode I'm focusing on getting the shower panelling up and the valve in and the enclosure done and getting the shower all completed. Now, I suspect it's going to be a bit slow going, like all tiling and stuff like that. It just takes ages. I've got to waterproof the shower frame, tank it in. I'm not so sure that you have to, but it was recommended. We're using the acrylic wall panels, and the people that sold it said you should really tank the walls just to be absolutely sure. So that's what we're going to do. That takes 24 hours to dry at normal room temperatures. Then we glue the shower panels on, and that takes 24 hours to dry at normal temperatures. But unfortunately this week the temperatures are plummeting again, so I suspect that the 24 hours to dry will be 48 hours. But stick with us, come along on this journey, see how we do. So to start, I'm going to waterproof these walls. Now, I'm not so sure everybody does that, to be honest. It's just I've seen some people just put the shower panels straight onto plasterboard, but this isn't plasterboard, this is plywood. I have painted and sealed the plywood, so there's an argument that says I don't need to do that again, but the people that we bought the shower wall stuff from highly recommended it, so it wasn't expensive. Let's go for that. So in order to do that, we've got this Mapei shower waterproofing kit. So it comes with a primer, which goes on first, and a kind of flexible liquid waterproofing membrane that you paint on, and some waterproofing tape for the joins. So the primer takes, it says, an hour to dry. We'll see. So that's a coat of primer on, although it's quite difficult to see where I've been, but I think I've got it all covered. So we'll let that dry. 2 hours it says. I'm off to the pub. So, have to confess, we didn't come back from the pub last night. It was getting a bit late and we thought, oh, we'll just leave it. So back today to do all the things I should have done yesterday. It's still a wee bit cold today. It's not quite warm enough to start painting here. So, rubber membrane. So the idea of this is that it seals all the joins. So you paint it on into the corners and at the corner of the shower tray. So let's go and do that. So I've put some masking tape down on the bottom of the tray where the tiles are going to come out to, and then you put the rubber seal up to that mark, and that way it gives you a proper seal. Now, this membrane comes with a mesh either side, which is fine for the corners, but for where it gets the shower tray, you cut the mesh off of one side and line that up to your masking tape. So that's the membrane in, seals up all the edges. It's a little messy, little fiddly. Wear gloves, but it's fine. I'm going to give that 5 minutes and then I'm going to tank the rest of it. Now, about 10 minutes later, that's the first coat of the waterproofing paint is on. Now, apparently it dries really quick. The box says about 1 to 2 hours for its overcoat. Now I need to go and find something else to do. And it doesn't involve the pub. So quick update, it's been an hour. The surface bits are reasonably dry, but the tape joins are not, they're still wet. So I'll give it another hour. So these are our shower wall panels. They are 1 metre wide. The shower tray is 9'10". Or the shower enclosure is 9'10". So I need to do a little bit of trimming to make it all fit. Now they're obviously quite long, so I also need to cut them lengthwise and crosswise. Now when you cut these, there has to be a 3mm gap at the bottom and at the top from the height of your shower tray to your ceiling. We're on the boat, so I need to just curve it round the back as well, make a little angle on it. And then cutting it, there's a few different options. So you can cut it with a handsaw with an ultra fine, this is an ultra fine teeth saw, really for cutting laminate and plastic, so that's ideal. Or similarly, you could use a circular saw with a fine blade, which I don't have, but I do have fine jigsaw blades, so I can use the jigsaw, as long as I think with the jigsaw I don't go too fast, just in case it melts the plastic, because these things are plastic. Now if you're using a power saw, you should flip it over so that you don't scratch the surface of your pattern, so always cut it on the back. But right now I want to leave it face up so that I can see where I'm going. I just want to cut this tongue off and on the other side, so that when it goes into the brackets, the corner bracket, it's nice and square. To do that I need to do it face up so I can see it. Now somebody also said to me, check it for being square, because some of these panels are decidedly not square. This one is, but apparently some of the cheaper ones are not very square. Well, in which case you need to kind of think about how you're going to put it in, but hopefully we will be okay. Well, that was terrifying, but it's done. And I didn't screw it up. So that's one cut to size. Well, not exact size, so what I'll do is, it's just so I can handle it. Just in case I need to scribe it in, I haven't cut it to the exact width. I'll put it in and then I'll scribe it all just in case it needs it. Now it's been 2 hours. The only bits that aren't dry are still the seams down this bottom part in particular. Difficult airflow really, but it's still soaking wet. Not quite sure what to do. I'll give it another hour, I suppose, and then yeah, if not, I'll need to do the second coat tomorrow. Yeah, it's been another hour and it's still not there. It's getting there slowly, but I think it needs, it's just the very bottom bit now. It's kind of working its way down. It's gonna have to leave it till tomorrow. What I think I might do is I might bring a little electric heater in as well, so that I get low level air flowing, warm air, because I think it's quite cold down the base of the boat. That's why it's kind of drying that way down. Right, tomorrow. Now I reckon the yard guard animals are Scottish, because a tiny little bit of sun, even on a cold day at 4 degrees, and they're out sunbathing. So cold last night, I've just waited for the ice to melt before I come down to the boat. So I've left that overnight, and well, at least the first coat's dry, but it's pretty cold on the boat, so it's too cold to apply it at the moment. Let's get some heat in. Yeah, it's only 2 degrees. So I brought a little fan heater from home, because yesterday I realised that rubber waterproofing is just so slow to dry, so I'm going to give it a bit of a boost today. Now this second coat, as I said earlier, needs at least 24 hours to properly cure before you glue it, given that the temperatures are now pretty low overnight. Probably a bit more than 24 hours, to be honest. So plan today, and pretty much the only plan today, is get the temperature in this boat up, get the second coat on, give it a bit longer with the fan heater to get it sort of touch dry, and then I'm going to leave it, and I'm going to leave it for tomorrow, so I won't be down tomorrow. I'll just give it absolute best length of time I can. You know, the other day Roma and I went to buy a sink for the bathroom, and there's so many choices, but most of the off-the-shelf vanity units that you buy are just a wee bit too low, not for use but for outlets and skin fittings on the boat. So as we know from the shower, I've got a stringer that runs right along, and I've got a rubbing strake on the outside, so trying to get a skin fitting below that is incredibly precise, but it also makes it too low for BSS rules. But for the sink it's slightly different, because the BSS says that the height really is at the top of the sink. So we're going to try and make that top of the sink around about the 900mm mark. A standard vanity unit is about 850mm, sometimes 800. So yeah, that's somewhere between 4 and 6 inches lower than we need it to be for the skin fitting. And then also we were trying to find a sink, and some of the sinks are lovely, but they're really deep. So we found a nice kind of shallowish sink that will work well. So we could have made a corner unit here, and a countertop basin on top of it. That would work quite well. But we've actually found a nice unit that's rectangular, but I need to build the carcass for it. So if I can pick up the wood today, I'll start making that tomorrow. And it's been an hour now, and we're up from 2 degrees to 8 degrees, so I'm going to start. Yay! 20 minutes later, that's the second coat on, and the little fan heater thing, which is there, is actually doing its job. I can see it beginning to dry off quite visibly. Brilliant. So I'll just keep running the fan heater. If I can get it surface dry before I go, then it will have overnight to cure. That's good. That's really good. I've lost a day, but you know, half expected with the weather. Anyway, look, I've painted something. Can I go home? Nah. So while I'm waiting for paint to dry, I think I'll glue these in. It's warm enough now. Simple enough job. Bit of spray foam in it, bit of mastic around the edge, pin it up, and then fold it up with one of my props. Well, that was downright awkward on your own. Yeah, that'll be easier with two. So that's the other one on. Easy enough, but putting a bar across on your own is mightily difficult. I think I'll wait till Roma's down. And this is drying really well. Now I've taken up the masking tape, and you can see it's a nice neat edge. So when I put the wall panel up, I'll get a really good seam with some sealant on there. So it's been just on 2 hours and it is touch dry. So that little fan heater has done exactly what I hoped it would do. The downside is with the stove on and the fan heater on, I'm sweating. It's hot in the boat, but I want it hot. I want it to cure. And that's another window liner glued on. I'm done for the day. Okay, so it's time to try and fit this shower enclosure, but it's a bit head scratchy. We are trying to figure out the instructions, and there's no words, there's just pictures, and it's really quite confusing. So for example, these are seals for the glass. There's 4 of them, but the pictures only show 2 of them. And for the life of us, yeah, there's one there and there's one there. And it is really confusing. And I spent last night looking at YouTube videos to see how they fit, and almost all the installers are saying, yeah, the instructions are terrible. But unless you know what you're doing, it's a bit, yeah. Anyway, so that's what we're going to try and do today. It's an hour later and we're still trying to figure the bloody thing out. This is really weird. So next dilemma is there are 8 runners for the glass. The instruction says there are 4 top ones and 4 bottom ones, but it doesn't tell you which one's which. These have got an adjusting screw. These don't. We've looked through the instructions and we think the ones with the adjusting screw goes on the top. But we only think, because it doesn't tell you at all. And we've discovered a little packet of grease in the fixings kit, which isn't on the components list. So we've no idea what that is at all. And now we're counting screws. The instruction says there's 16 screws. I've got 12. But we've realised that while the instructions say there are 4 holes to put the sidebars on, there's only 3. So the number of screws is okay. I tell you, the two of us are just like, what? This is going to take a while. If you're buying a shower enclosure, make sure you get one with bloody good instructions. Luckily, we're both quite good at doing flat packs, so we're kind of getting there, but it's a slog. Yay, we did it, sort of. Bit more to go, but the key point is to mark out on the tray where it's all going to fit. So even though I read all the instructions yesterday and I came down here to do some measuring up, it still took two of us to figure out what the hell was going on. You know, the instruction says there are 20 screws and you get 4. And you're thinking, okay. Next bit is the seals. So confess to not showing that on camera. It just took the two of us and a bit of to me, to you, is that right? Yeah, okay, that's it. Once we've figured out all the instructions, it was fine. While it's not very clear on the instructions, we've kind of logically said that a seal needs to go on the inside and round to seal off the glass. It's the only thing we can think of. And as it turns out, those seals are too long and that's not where they go. We've been through the instructions again, and there's a tiny little photograph at the end that shows a seal on this side and a seal on the door going this way, which is weird because it looks too long. But we'll keep going with the instructions. There you go. In the words of Miss Rachel, good job. You can tell we've got grandkids. Right, so now we've got all the shower tray marked out and the shower enclosure marked out. We're just putting up the wall panel. I've just given it a bit of a cut. It is ever so slightly out at the top, so I just need to cut a wee bit off here to get my 3mm gap. But I'm also going to have to cut it at an angle at the back because it's jamming. Well, we did it. That took us a good few hours. And in the end, I had to scribe this corner in because it isn't quite square. It's just the floor, I think, more than anything else, or the tray's not perfectly level. But I scribed it in and it's absolutely fine and it's peachy. Everything else is peachy. We've cut the holes out for the shower niches and the pipe work. The only thing to do now is kind of glue it up. But we're tired. This has taken us all day, and we're both a bit knackered. Well, me more than Scott. Plus, we've got to get Scott back now because he's leaving tonight for his journey home to Tokyo. We won't see him now for a few years, so having him helping me today has been bloody brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. The only thing is, on this board, I cut it the wrong side of the line that I drew on, and so I've got a 7mm gap instead of a 3mm gap. It's unfortunate. Well, it's been a productive week. Didn't unfortunately get the shower enclosure all finished. Just the time it's taking for the waterproofing to dry. Just it's kind of slow going. I have to say today, with Scott's help, I got through cutting all the panels, getting the enclosure up. I would not have been able to do that on my own. It would have been physically impossible to do what we did today on my own. There was a lot of math involved, a lot of cutting it, bringing it in, taking it back in, cutting the pipe holes, cutting the shower niche holes. There was a lot of in, out, and just trying not to break the corners of the shower wall panel while you're doing that. It's just being really delicate. So I think next week shouldn't be too bad. I just need to glue it all up now. Glue the panels on, let them dry, get the shower on, because we've made it now. It's all ready to just lift in and screw in, which is brilliant. And I can do that on my own, or Roma's down. She's got a day off midweek and she can come down and we can just shimmy it in. But I'm really happy we've done it. So I hope you got something out of this week. Those shower wall panels are great. Obviously it's on a boat. That panel that I had nice and square shifted a little bit, so we had to scribe that in. That was unfortunate. Just shows you how important it is to get things in a shower absolutely square. That's about it for this week. So thank you for watching, thanks for liking. Say goodbye to Scott, because we won't see him for 4 years now. He's got to save up all that money to come back over from Tokyo. Yeah. Unless we go over there on holiday and annoy him. No. So, we shall see you next time.